You know what, guys? I mean, both the Boruto manga and the Boruto anime are doing so well right now. And honestly, it's a good time to be a Boruto fan. Not only this episode was the best episode of the entire series, it's also my favorite. So, all in all, it's a really, really good feeling reviewing this episode. So, without further ado, let's get into Boruto episode 61 review. Now, let me just quickly say this. This episode was super emotional and it hit me pretty hard. I actually watched the episode 2 times, and around the 15-minute mark, I believe, when Boruto is clashing with Shinki, I think I watched that part for about 10 times in total, both on Twitter and on Crunchyroll. And despite all the emotional impact that this episode brought, it also had a great fight. Potentially the best fight in the Boruto series, and of course this is subjective, right? But anyway, before the opening we get a little, I guess, a summary of the last episode. Well, not a summary, I should say a recap, right? Of the final two semi-final matches, right? And then after that we see Boruto, and all of his friends telling him to do his best, which was a really, really nice way to introduce the episode. And of course, we have the opening and the final match between Sarada, Boruto, and Shinki starts. Now, we all know that Shinki is overpowered as fuck, and of course, it's natural that Boruto and Sarada teamed up. Plus, they have a really, really close relationship. They're from the same team, for God's sake. And it's, of course, natural that they would fight together. Now, there's one thing that I really wish we could have seen. It's just me right here. You might disagree with me. But if, let's say Shinki was defeated and we would be left with Boruto versus Sarada, right? I feel like that would be super cool. But then again, Boruto wouldn't cheat against Sarada. I feel like he would either surrender, he would admit that he cheated because he cares for Sarada so much, which is, emphasized throughout the series and especially in this episode, which I will get into a bit later. But that kind of wouldn't make sense because, as I said, Boruto probably wouldn't cheat. We wouldn't get the iconic scene where Naruto catches Boruto cheating. So I guess it's fine that we didn't get it. But still, I would like to see a potential scenario where Shinki loses and we see Boruto and Sarada standing there. Like, they wouldn't be able to attack each other because of all the emotions, because of the connection and all that. But, yeah, anyway. Let's talk about the actual episode and about the actual events that happened, right? So anyway, the animation throughout the fight was gorgeous. Now, when it comes to me, and if you follow my reviews, you know this. Usually when there's a great fight, I don't really, I guess, talk about it too much because, my main thing when it comes to anime and stuff like that are the character interactions, the dialogue, iconic scenes and all that. Of course, I fucking love fights, right? But, like, I'm not gonna dissect, all the jutsus and combinations that Boruto and Sarada used. All I can say was smart writing, especially when Boruto threw the lightning shurikens. And they passed through the lightning jutsu that Sarada used, the one she copied from Buntan. That was, I think, my favorite part from of the fight, right? Now, obviously, Boruto did cheat in this fight, and just like, it's kind of obvious right now, he's cheating because of, mostly because of Naruto, and of course, because of his friends, especially in this final match, because he was, having flashbacks of his friends and all that, which I will get into later. Anyway, Shinki's too strong, man. And, his Iron Sand, the Magnet Release, too fucking strong. Honestly, too fucking strong for Sarada and Boruto, who are some of the strongest Genins, right, in the Leaf Village. Now, of course, Shinki was arrogant throughout the fight, which is something that we already saw from him. Now, when his backstory was shown, my prediction was that we were going to get a bit more of his backstory. It looks like I was wrong. I get it. We saw a short scene that implies that he had no friends because people feared him because of his power, but I still feel like we should have seen it for maybe because the flashback was extremely short. I even think that Ryogi's flashback or Ryogi's quote-unquote backstory was longer. But yeah, anyway, I just feel like we should have seen more. despite the fact that I understand kind of what childhood Shinki had. And that kind of explains why he's so arrogant. You know, obviously, the power that he had, it was something that was, I guess, driving people away from him. And, you know, the concept of power and jutsus, I guess, is really important to Shinki. And when you take into consideration that Gaara adopted him, he taught him all these crazy jutsus, and then he sees these quote-unquote brats, you know, with weak jutsus. It kind of makes him angry, I guess. He feels as if they're not respectful in a way. Now, one thing that Shinki doesn't understand is that, okay, they didn't have such rough childhoods like, you know, Shinki, right? So they didn't feel like, I guess, quote unquote true pain, I guess, of being a shinobi or whatever. But he fails to realize that despite all of that, he naturally has a very overpowered ability, right? I mean, even Mitsuki couldn't beat him. Yes, Mitsuki would most likely beat him with Sage Mode, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out because that's something that, you know, Shinki should realize in the future of the series, I believe. But yeah, that's some potential character progression for him in the future, and I don't know. We're gonna see how relevant he'll be in the future of the series, especially after the versus Momoshiki arc and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed that we haven't seen more of his backstory. But then again, we might see it in the future. I don't know. I feel like when Boruto defeated Shinki at the last moment, when Shinki looked at Boruto, we could have seen another flashback of him and Gaara, because we all know how close they are, and you know we know how important Gaara is to Shinki, because you know Gaara saved Shinki from the curse of the power that Shinki had, the power that made everyone go away from him, right? But yeah. Anyway, I already mentioned how the animation was great throughout this fight. And let me just get to the final part of the fight, when Shinki, I guess, gets serious, and Gaara was even surprised to see that. At one point, Naruto even said ultimate defense or something like that. It reminds me of somebody, right? He said that. And honestly, I thought that Gaara was gonna smile and say something back to Naruto, but he was like, huh. And then, you know, he said something, which was extremely funny. The first time I saw the episode, I was alone, and then I called my best friend, right? We watched the episode. And, you know, we both laughed at that point because, you know, Gaara did him dirty. Naruto was expecting a casual, friendly smile, but no, Gaara wasn't feeling it, right? Which I thought was hilarious, by the way. Anyway, going back to the actual fight between Sarada, Boruto, and Mitsuki, and Shinki. Shinki gets quote-unquote serious, right? And Sarada gets defeated, I guess. And you can clearly see when Sarada is about to be absolutely destroyed, Boruto looks at her, he reaches out, and you can see the pain in his eyes for the fact that he couldn't protect Sarada, which is very important because obviously all of us saw the movie. Later on, he's going to develop one of his main motivations slash goals, which is to protect Sarada and to help her on her way to become the Hokage, and thus Boruto becomes the Shadow Hokage, potentially in the future of the series. And obviously all of this was shown in the movie and in the manga, but just because the anime had so many episodes, it developed the relationship between Sarada and Boruto so much, this shit gets even more value to it, right? And this is something that I'm really, really enjoying. Obviously, Sarada got defeated, and at this point, Boruto slowly but surely starting to have a mental breakdown as he's about to clash with Shinki. You know, he uses Boruto's stream, and of course, he also uses lightning style, right? And as he clashes with Shinki, this is the part of the episode which I rewatched more than 10 times. The soundtrack. Oh my goodness. I mean, applause. Bro, that soundtrack. I was searching for so long. I couldn't find it. I searched like Boruto sad soundtracks because I wanted to find it. And these soundtracks in Boruto are so similar. I thought I found it, but I couldn't find the exact soundtrack that played when Boruto was having all of these flashbacks of his friends and of his dad. And that was super emotional because it was obvious that Boruto was going to cheat. I mean, he even cheated before, I believe, when Sarada and Boruto were, I guess, caught by Shinki. I think he used the Kote to produce a shadow clone. I'm pretty sure of it. Doesn't really matter either way. He cheated at the end, right? Excuse me, yeah. And what was I talking about? I kind of lost myself. I apologize. But anyway, he's having all these flashbacks of his friends and all that. But then there was this scene where he is standing behind Naruto and he kind of tries to reach out to Naruto, but Naruto leaves, which kind of symbolizes that Boruto is afraid of not getting attention from his father, which kind of sounds wrong and makes him look like a brat. But no, we're talking about love here. That's what I mean when I say attention. And that scene was super emotional. I must say that this episode got me crying at that part. Uh, Props to the writers. That was just beautiful, and the animation. And I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna put Boruto's picture when he reaches out to Naruto in the thumbnail of this video. Actually, I promise that I'm gonna do it. I even posted it on my Twitter. It's such a good shot. I have a custom profile picture, which I paid for. And if it wasn't for that, I would definitely set this picture as my YouTube profile picture. It's that beautiful, but I'm just gonna keep the one I have right now because I really fucking love it. Crossover between Tokyo Ghoul and Boruto that I always wanted to have, because these two are my favorite series. I mean, my favorite series is Naruto slash Boruto. My second favorite series is Tokyo Ghoul slash Tokyo Ghoul Re, the manga, because the anime sucks ass. That moment, I can't praise it enough. As I said, I rewatched it for more than 10 times, and it was just wonderful. And obviously, Boruto uses purple lightning to defeat Shinki. And just to repeat it once again, the animation was great, especially at that moment when he used purple lightning to defeat Shinki. And despite the fact that we got Shinki's backstory, which is kind of tragic and all that, despite the fact that I understand why Shinki is arrogant, I must say that I was happy for the fact that he lost, because he talked too much shit in this episode, I believe. Which, again, as I said, I understand that. I'm just saying I was satisfied to see Shinki losing. And I must say, even though I knew that Boruto was gonna get caught, obviously in the manga and in the movie he got caught against Shikadai. Here it was changed, but it was obvious that he was gonna get caught because of the iconic scene where Naruto catches him, right? And by the way, this is such a nice parallel, because when they were in the Uzumaki household, Naruto wanted to fist bump with Boruto, but Boruto couldn't do it because of the Kote, and now Boruto wanted to do it and Naruto didn't do it, obviously. But anyway, as I said, I knew that he was gonna cheat, but one part of me was super scared, and I said to myself, maybe he won't get caught, which doesn't make sense, because him getting caught is some massive character development, character progression in this arc. But that just shows how much I care for this character. I mean, I've been saying this throughout the Boruto anime. Out of the next generation, Boruto is my favorite character. And, I knew that because I said that in multiple videos. But I was genuinely scared when I was watching. I had the feeling I have when I watch football. You see that badge right there? I support Man City, right? And when the other team is attacking us, I have this feeling I'm scared. And I barely have that when I watch anime. I was genuinely scared, even though I knew he was gonna get caught. That's how invested I am into his character. And honestly, I don't see a better shonen protagonist right now than Boruto. Mainly because he's so different. His story isn't cliche. He doesn't go from zero to hero. He goes from hero to zero, which is visible in the first episode. He's flawed, obviously, which is done intentionally. He's not idealistic. He progresses throughout the series. Obviously, this arc will bring some massive character development / progression. But there were so many small hints at this development throughout the series, which a regular viewer can't even see. Because, most regular viewers, I would say. I mean, I've been covering this series from the start. And if you're regular when it comes to my reviews, you basically know my opinions on those small quote-unquote hints, which I'm not going to cover again because this video will be too long. But the way Boruto's written is so well. He's not my favorite anime character, but definitely one of my favorite anime characters. Naruto is still my favorite character. I fucking love Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. But, Boruto, I'm just getting more and more invested into his character, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. And okay, enough of me fanboying about Boruto being the most unique and the most interesting and the most unpredictable shonen protagonist right now. So Boruto cheats, he gets caught by Naruto, and this moment is so significant because, he became a champion. This is even worse than the movie thing, because in the movie, he was caught, obviously, but here he became a champion. He was so happy, he even celebrated it together with the audience, and then he got caught. And then, this is also one of the best parts of the episodes. You have where Boruto is caught. You have these people from the crowd screaming at him, cursing Boruto. You have Kage's, I guess, talking shit about him. I mean, not really talking shit, but the Tsuchikage was really disappointed. Jojo was also disappointed. Later on, Katasuke comes and he looks at Boruto, and that look basically says, I used you, right? And you have this horror look on Boruto. Everybody's so disappointed. You have Shikadai who is having a mental breakdown, which just furthermore brings emotional impact to this episode, because you feel bad for Shikadai, and of course you feel bad for Boruto because he's bombarded from all sides. You have Sarada looking at Boruto being extremely sad, and that's something that was done really well in this episode. The facial expressions of Sarada when she was pretty much on the verge of crying because of Boruto. When Boruto failed to protect Sarada, his facial expression, Naruto's facial expression, Shikadai's, Katasuke's, and Boruto's look after all the things that came at him at the same time. Honestly, I can't describe how good this episode was. Honestly, the best episode of the series. This one is my favorite, episode 23, my second favorite, and episode 53, my third favorite. But this episode just blows everything up. Like, it was just, like, wow, one of the best anime episodes that I saw. Not only in Boruto/Naruto. But, yeah. And obviously, we have this crazy emotional moment where Naruto's talking to Boruto. He says, we'll talk later. And then Boruto's like, are you going to have time to talk with me? Maybe if we talked more, I wouldn't end up like this. And it just hits you right in the feels. And honestly, I mean, this is nothing bad. This really depends on the person, right? If you still don't have a bond with this character after 61 episodes, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's such a shame for you, because you'd be enjoying this moment even more. But yeah, Boruto says this. I'm fucking crying like a child, right? Throughout this part. Again, I know I said it a couple of minutes ago, but the soundtrack was brilliant. There are so many soundtracks recently added the Boruto series which are unreleased still. I can't wait to find all of them. If you guys watched, I think it was last week, my review, when Sasuke was talking to Boruto about lightning style, and when Sasuke was basically talking about himself in third person, there was also this great soundtrack that was playing. I even found it, which I said in that video, but I couldn't find the HQ version, and it literally sounded terrible. So, I can't wait to find all of these soundtracks. And just to make this perfect episode even more perfect, we get a great cliffhanger at the end. There's this super cool moment where Naruto feels something. You see the change of color on the screen, and boom, Momoshiki and Kinshiki appear. Urashiki's not here, which is very, very interesting. And yeah, honestly, bro, this episode, I can't get enough of it. I'm probably gonna go and rewatch it for the third time, or actually watch it for the third time, because that would technically be second time rewatching, because the first time I watched wasn't rewatching, it was watching. Why did I just say all of this? But yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. As I said at the start of this review, and I just want to, say it once again, it is a good time to be a Boruto fan. Hell, it's a perfect time to be a Boruto fan. And, we're getting so close to the current arc of the manga. And if you're an anime only, I'm not going to say what happens in the manga right now. But Boruto Chapter 24, which is currently the latest Boruto chapter, it started a new arc, and the name of the arc is Kawaki arc, which just shows you who got introduced in the manga. Yo, I'm just so fucking happy, and I'm proudly wearing this t-shirt. All these predictable shonens that are airing, and then you have Boruto with this crazy factor of unpredictability. I'm loving every fucking moment of it. That was your boy Tsunoda Hokage. It's written in the links are in the description below. Let me know what you thought about this amazing episode in the comment section, because I'm gonna read all the comments. Smash the like button for this amazing episode. I don't say this usually, but honestly, like, it was just out of this world. That was your boy Tsunoda Hokage, and I will see you in my next video.